What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and this week we have the 2025 Mazda CX70 Turbo S Premium Plus. That is a mouthful. Nonetheless, it is the top of the line for this all-new CX70. And next video is going to be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. If you are new to my channel, because if you want to skip around whatever, the order it will go, we will do a quick cinematic, which is 60 seconds or less. Then we're going to go over the exterior with stats, figures, stuff I feel you guys would want to know. And then we will jump into the interior, talk some of that stuff, and then we will be taking it on a drive. So without further ado, let's roll. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that cinematic. Let's just walk around it slowly and talk about some of the stats and figures. The CX70 Turbo S Premium Plus is a 3.3 liter 6-cylinder with a mild hybrid. It's only a 0.33 kilowatt battery, pushing 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Transmission is an 8-speed auto. Now, it is all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel drive bias drivetrain. Curb weight is around 4,863 pounds, and it's going to be pushing it from 0 to 60 in roughly 6.1 seconds. MPG 23 city, 28 highway, with a combined average of around 25 MPGs. Gas tank 19.6 gallons. Towing capacity right at 5,000 pounds. Vehicle dimensions, overall length 16.75 feet. Width is around 6.5 feet, and your ground clearance is 8.1 inches. Pricing is pretty important. Pricing starts on the base model, which is the Turbo Preferred, $40,445, and the tester today is roughly $58,480, including the destination charge. On the exterior, let's just touch on some things you may or may not notice. LED headlamps, which are super nice. It does have parking sensors as well, which I think are hidden fairly decently. You can see them located here as well. And then the camera in the middle, it's also on the mirrors because it does have a 360 camera. And it is located right there. As we continue on around, it does have keyless entry. It is on the front doors only. Hopefully you can see right there. And also, as we continue to work our way around, you're going to notice down at the bottom it says Mazda, which is a really nice, I think it's like a black chrome, looks pretty good. As far as the wheels go, here in the rear, if I could talk, it's equipped with a 275/45/21. Also super nice, the molding is color match. That's really nice. Fuel door located there on the driver's side, and as we come around, I think it looks pretty good all the way around. It's a good looking SUV. I do get a little bit of BMW vibes, not gonna lie, which is not a bad thing. Now let's pop this open here. You can see it is a power liftgate. You can see a few different chargers located over there on the right, and over on the left you can see you can fold them down with the button. Also optional is the cover located right there, which can pull forward. It'll lock into these little guys, and then if we were to pull this handle up, you can see what is located there. A little bit of storage, but then also stuff for roadside assistance. As far as actual cargo space, I will put it here on the screen so that way you know. I always test whether it's easy to get into these vehicles or not. First thing I notice in the rear, this door is really wide. Like, it basically is almost 90 degrees all the way out. So super wide. That's definitely nice if that's something you are looking for. Now let's actually step into it and let's see here. Your leg has to come up a little bit, and it's kind of like stadium seating. So the seat's up just a little bit higher. There is a grab handle inside if I get the camera to where you can actually see. Now that we're in here, it's pretty nice. This is basically what I see, so you can at least see a little bit out there. Again, just a hair of stadium seating. And then looking down here, 2 USB-Cs, heated seats, and you have your own temperature controls here in the rear. Seat back pockets on both seats, and this leather is so soft. And touching on space while we are looking here, this is exactly where the seat sits when I drive. Again, 5'9", and my hand can't even hardly reach, so that's probably, I would say, like 8 inches, 9, 10, I don't know, somewhere there. Legroom, a bunch of space. And then as far as head space goes, there's probably a good 3 inches up there, I would say. And then there is a lever that you can manually adjust there we go. I got it now. So you can see it does lay back quite nice. So it is adjustable, which is good to have. Let's take a look over here, and the sun is just blinding us. So you can see that there is a sunshade in the rear. You've got like a wood material, which looks really nice. I love that. This is basically like an Alcantara. And then as far as the window switch, no wiggle, no jiggle, nice little bezel, feels premium. This is all soft touch, this is all soft, and then this is kind of like a harder rubber. Overall, really nice. They did not cheap out in the rear. Time to test getting in the front. So the seat's a little lower than the front because, like I said, the rear is stadium seating, so you can tell that whenever you get in. So it is just a hair easier to get into the front seat. And then as far as like up and down, lifting your leg, not bad. Hair on the high side, not bad at all. And then up above us, plenty of space. Obviously, you can control whatever you want as far as leg space goes, and plenty of room. As far as the door goes, very similar. It does have power folding mirrors located right there. Window switches, same as the rear. And if we look down here, we have 2 settings for memory seating. I-stop off, that is something I click a lot, which is just the auto on off. And then out in front of us, we have a fully digital display. That's really nice. And we also have a heads-up display out in front of us. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we have active lane centering located right there. Setting your cruise control, obviously the controls for it, and then you also have adaptive cruise control. Over on the left, you've got your source, seek, track, and then obviously your volume. Located on the back, you can see these little paddle shifters, which I don't know if you necessarily always need them on an SUV, but they are there if you would like them. Working our way to the middle, down here, you've got a wireless charging pad, and then you have your mode selector. So if we were to do that, you can see there's off-road, there is normal, and there is sport. So there are 3 different modes to choose from. And then continuing our way down, shifter, not all that new for Mazda, but if you're not familiar, to go into reverse, you push it over and then down for drive. So it does actually move, which is kind of unique. And right here is our camera button. So if we were to press that, you can see that is out in front of us at the moment. And over here is our 360 view. Nice and clear, good graphics from Mazda here. And this is not a touchscreen, at least for normal use. You can see, you can touch anything you want. It doesn't do anything. You do still have to do the typical Mazda wheel down here. So if I were to hit home, you can see there it will change. You can scroll through things, whatever you would like. This infotainment has been around for a while now. It does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, as you can see right there. It is wireless if you like that kind of thing. Now, I have not tested it because I do not use it. My understanding is if you connect to one of those 2, then you can use it as a touchscreen. Now, I don't know why we can't just use it as a touchscreen in park. I understand why Mazda doesn't want to have it while driving because it can be distracting. 100% on board with that. But nonetheless, just a little tiny thing that I think could improve eventually is just allow us to have a touchscreen while in park. Continuing on down, we have a dual opening center console. It is not very deep at all, but you could probably fit a tissue box in there, and you have 2 USB-Cs. Now, up above, we have our garage door buttons located right there, 3 of them, and then you have a sunglasses holder, and then you have a panoramic roof. So we will click the button so that way you can see what it looks like whenever it's open. Here in Arizona, I generally always leave it shut because it is hot, but you can see the difference in the tint from here to there. So it is definitely more tinted, but you can feel it just a little bit whenever you have that all the way open if you're somewhere super hot like Phoenix, Arizona. It's just about everything on the interior. I think it's just about time we get this CX70 out on the road. Let's roll. As we get this out on the road, some of my very first impressions was whenever I saw it, it looks really good. Like, it's a good looking SUV. And then I saw the interior and I was like, wow, that's also really good looking. My first impression when driving though was, and again, this is minor, I think it's more to do with tuning than anything because everything else is really good, but we'll talk about all of that. But it just reminded me because we're just pulling off. When you're in normal, it does a first to second shift really quickly. And when it does that so quickly at such low speed, it almost feels like it's lurching you forward just a little bit. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is something that I definitely noticed right off the bat. And again, I think that's just tuning. And also keep in mind, please, this is a press vehicle. We get these pretty early. Most customers don't even have these yet. So they could definitely refine the tuning, and that point right there could be right out the window, right out of gate 1. Someone else may have already noticed it. Not a big deal, but I did notice it and I did want to point it out. Now, on to everything else. Let's talk about the noise levels. So if you're new to my channel, I've got 3 different categories, right? The 3 categories are tire noise, you have wind noise, and then you have powertrain noise. Powertrain, you can hear a little bit, especially under full load. You can definitely hear it then. As far as wind noise goes, don't hear much there. And as far as tire goes, don't hear a lot there either. So you can hear it just here and there hitting certain things, but very, very well maintained, if I could talk today. But yeah, noise levels, definitely happy with that category for this vehicle. Touching on blind spots, over to our left, not a problem. I don't love the blind being up whenever it's up. Makes it just a hair difficult, not a big deal. Over to the right, can see absolutely fine. Of course, there is blind spot monitoring if you need it. All right, this thing is rear wheel drive biased, but let's punch it and see what happens here. Okay. That is a raw reaction. I have not floored this vehicle yet. That was my first time. This thing gets, and you can tell just a hair of lag for just a second in the sense of the all-wheel drive kind of kicking in. You can kind of feel the back end skating just a hair. Then you can feel the front wheels kick in. So you can feel it, it is there. Now, touching on suspension and our noise levels, once again, we're coming into the category we do it every single week, so let's test it out. Here we go. Oh, suspension was great. That was really good suspension. Noise, I would say, is about average, maybe a hair above average, but pretty good. But yeah, that was, if you guys want to see a true test, go feel free to watch other competitors and videos on my channel. We go over that pretty much every single video. So, and usually it's roughly the time stamp because I do the same route. So there you go. Setting the cruise control, lane centering does actually work pretty well. I do like the updates that they've done to their lane centering because previously in some of their other models, it was really honestly not all that good. Like it was okay, but it didn't stay like 100% dead center all the time. Sometimes it would float a little bit more to the left, a little bit more to the right, but it would still stay there. But this update, whatever they've done, I don't know. I'm sure it's out there and I could find it if I dug deep enough. It's really good. So on this, no question, it does work well. You do have to set your cruise control in order to use it. So keep that in mind. As far as adaptive cruise control works, no issues there. I do enjoy the way that it is basically even in the sense of how it will accelerate and slow down. It doesn't feel automated. It feels as though you are doing it yourself. I also like that Mazda has now updated all of their interiors, meaning having heated seats, cooled seats, because there for a while they were actually behind. Like, they would not put ventilated seats in their vehicles, and it's nice to have a lot of those features now. Also, in the center, having a fully digital display. They kept analog for a good while, and just being able to have that updated, it feels nice whenever you're driving it. Now, let's take this turn in sport mode at 20. Definitely a little top heavy, but it's an SUV. I mean, I don't expect it to be, like, to me, that was absolutely acceptable. But there are some SUVs out there that can just feel a little bit more planted, not quite as top heavy. You can feel this vehicle, and of course it's not light. And Mazda is all about the driving experience. So touching on that, the steering in this car is on the heavier side compared to some other vehicles, but again, it's all about the driving experience, and you can feel that. Suspension wise, like I said, it's not ultra plush, which is why you could feel it coming over there. It feels a little more sporty, but this vehicle, again, hair on the top heavy side as far as around turns, but certainly acceptable for what this vehicle is. This is one of the roughest roads in this area, and I would be quiet for just a second so you can hear what it sounds like. Like, the noise levels I'm pretty impressed with. They've done a really good job. Previously, honestly, Mazda also as well, they didn't seem to focus on that maybe quite as much, and you can tell in this vehicle they spent some time trying to make sure that it is a little more quiet when driving. And it's nice because this really is more on the luxury side of things, being the top trim level, and it feels like it too. People always ask me for the 3 different drive modes. In this case, are they different? Can you tell a difference? Absolutely, you can tell a difference. Sport is holding gears, and let's just hit it again one more time to the floor. That's insane. For how heavy this thing is and what it does, like, it will absolutely get. All right, let's come around this turn real quick. You won't be able to really tell on camera, but just, I'll give you some feedback. Again, a little on the top heavy side. You can feel it a little bit. And then coming in on the brakes feel good, especially for the size and weight. I'm impressed. But yeah, nonetheless, so back to what I was saying, the 3 different modes. Sport definitely holds the gears. You can feel the suspension tighten up. Even in normal mode, though, you can tell the steering is a little bit, again, on the heavier side. Is it a big deal? Absolutely not, because, again, Mazda, driving experience. And I do think you are getting that in a Mazda versus some other vehicles. You just have to determine what you're looking for in a vehicle. Next video, 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. New vehicle every single week. Sometimes we mess with our own supercars, Camaros, stuff like that. But as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.